If you're in a realm of an established company, then congratulations. You probably also would have experienced the difficulty of at the time of onboarding the next executive advisor to help you to scale, to help you get to the next level, or perhaps just a team member. How do you ensure that person can help you to get to the point and seamlessly integrate with the team that you already have without disturbing the harmony?
Healthcare entrepreneurs, are you ready to rewrite the rules for your business so you can have more time off, a great team, and more income while creating a positive social impact? Then you are in the right place. Welcome to The Provider's Edge. I'm your host, Sabrina Rumbach. I'm a provider, an international peak performance keynote speaker, and a best-selling author. Let's open the gateway to profitability for you today. My guests and I help healthcare entrepreneurs and startup founders like you break through barriers so you can control your business, control your life, and control your future. This is your defining moment to be a disruptor in healthcare.
Picture this. A few years back, Janet, the CEO of a thriving digital tech company for patient advocacy, faced a puzzled dilemma. Despite a stellar growth trajectory, she found herself grasping with a unique problem, finding the right expert to join her team of advisors. Like many of us and those of you who are reading this right now, she believed that having an impressive lineup of advisors could skyrocket her company to a new height. Over the past decade, numerous companies, much like Janet's, have had their share of ups and downs. We've seen HealthTech companies and organizations driven by passion and innovation, pushing the boundaries of the healthcare industry. Yet, time and again, they're struggling with a common hurdle, which is assembling a formidable team of board advisors, as well as a core diligent contributors to their organization. Well, we sure understand your journey as a founder, as an executive, as a leader in your company and your organization. You have discovered that sole purpose and solution you wanted to solve within a healthcare system. You develop a great product to serve those potential people who truly need to make their life better and to make a real difference in the world. And you have achieved multi-seven-figure revenue in your organization, and you're well-funded. You have the operational resources and have had consistent growth, but you're now feeling stuck. You're not sure how to scale your business to the next level. You know there are potential for a massive growth in your company and organization. You want to jump off that growth plateau. One of the biggest aha moments you probably had was the people who helped you to build your company might not be the same people who can make your company the industry leader and build into that multi-eight-figure organization that you know you can create. So what do? You start searching for the best industry experts, contracting headhunters to help you because you know they have a lot more resources than you do, and thinking about how much money or stock you're willing to part ways so you can secure these best experts with their network, their knowledge, and their true input to help you to grow. Now, you all know retaining talent is tough. Leveraging an executive searching firm is important, yet costly to hire. Generally, executive search firm fees are calculated based on a percentage of hired executive for their first year of that they are working with your company. And that percentage falls anywhere between 20 to 35%. The higher percentage, of course, are going to be your board advisor level, executive level, versus a lower percentage for a more managerial or other part of the company. For instance, if the hired executive's annual salary, which truly on average is going to be between $200,000 to $300,000, we'll just say $200,000 for this particular role. The recruiting firm's fee is 25%. The company, you will have to pay $50,000 to hire the firm for that service. And we also know training and onboarding an executive often takes 90 days. Therefore, during the initial 90 days, this person might not be immediately contributing to your company since they are getting grounded, getting familiar with your operation, your boundaries, and what they might be able to contribute to. And how you onboard this executive, that crucial 90 days, reflect how well you can retain talent as a company. At the same time, during period, we always need to look for how we can be very specifically leverage that executive's talent in the right role. On average, estimators suggest that onboarding costs for an executive can range from 50 to 150% of their annual salary. Keeping our example above, your expense for hiring that executive was $200,000. And therefore, onboarding costs for this particular role will range from $100,000 to $300,000. These costs, you wonder, where are they even coming from? Well, they might be coming from relocation assistance. If the executive is moving to a new location, costs related to moving, temporary housing, setting in can contribute to onboarding expenses. Now, you might also consider nowadays we're all hybrid work. A lot of us are having remote work, so that might not be a concern of yours. The second type of expense can be training and development. When I put together our board advisors for PulsePoint Path, part of that initial onboarding, not only we love for them to, give us their input on certain proprietary process that we're building for other business advancements, but we also need to know, are the teams are able to function really well together, that we had to spend extra time and money in the beginning to train our advisors, as well as assessing their ability. Because as a team, we believe in peak performance, and it's not just by their titles and their experience. We have to see how do they understand each other and how do they morph with their talent. Some are more innovative versus other people might be more cautious, and therefore you can balance things off. So those costs and timing definitely can contribute to your onboarding costs. The third type of expense are technology equipment, providing these executives equipment that they can function really well. Tools required for them to perform their jobs effectively. Not all of them needed to have their personal laptop, cell phones, emails, or any other applications that might be involved in. Now, the fourth type of the cost is travel costs. If your advisors needed to meet clients in person, attending events, training sessions, all those do combine into one lump in the beginning. The fifth type of cost is orientation and integration. Like what we mentioned before, not just training on skill sets and understanding their personal character and how they integrate with others, but this type of orientation is more internal, operational side of expense of figuring out the team dynamic. Number 6 is mentor and coaching. We do understand the importance of executive coaching and keeping tab and continue to help them to move forward as they are the leader and what in PulsePoint we call them the committee chair for each domain of the business. And lastly is lost productivity. Indirect costs associated with executives' time spent onboarding instead of contributing to the company goals. Despite the best effort to train, mentor, and onboard new members or executives, this is where some businesses stumble when new advisors join the team, causing clashing and existing members. Others found the progress altering due to the overlapping skill sets. The enthusiasm of the new hire was overshadowed perhaps by differences in value or lack of collaboration. But as the saying goes, every problem has a solution. Matching a new board member with the existing ones require a strategic approach. Now let's talk about the 6 areas for you to consider. Number 1, complementary skill set. Seeking advisors who are experts in set of areas that fills the gap in your existing board. When building your board advisors, consider a jigsaw puzzle, if you like, and each advisor should be able to bring in a unique piece and complement to the overall picture. If you think about a basketball team, everyone's position is different and skill set is different. Therefore, people who are in the front and the end who are more be able to be the forward versus people who are able to block when the ball is returned, they have different roles and different skill set. Although many of us have multiple skill sets and able to move around different areas, we do need to look for the specific set that are missing. So if your existing advisor excel in technology development, but lacking marketing wits, seek someone with a proven track record in that domain. Not necessarily have to be in healthcare. People who with marketing expertise in other domains really are transferable wisdom expertise that can be applied for healthcare. Our business advancement consulting firm, PulsePoint Path, actually created a specific way of 12 domains of business that we consider the most important for any company to be able to jump off that growth plateau. When we look at these 12 areas, not only they are domain based on legal, financial, technology, marketing, for example, but the skill set, particularly within each board advisor, need to also be able to tackle their own expertise and integrate with other people. Because if you create a marketing branding and your PR advisor are not actually matching what your marketing advisor is doing, then they actually is doing detriment for your company. And therefore, integrating these skill set is really crucial. This strategy has proven to prevent redundancy and ensure a well-rounded skill set that can address multifaceted challenges. By assembling a diverse team of advisors, you'll harness a spectrum of insights, fostering innovation and strategic decision-making. Number 2, culture fit. Ensuring new members value and align with your company culture can minimize clashes. A harmonized board isn't just about the years of experience they have, nor how many letters behind their names. It's about shared values. A new advisor might bring stellar credential, but if their value clash with your company culture, conflicts can rise. Consider this. A HealthTech startup that welcomed a renowned expert into their team, only to face turmoil due to differences in ethical stances. And this is not a hypothetical situation. We actually all seen that before, where you're so excited for that person to join your company. You had a multiple conversation and finally agreed to help you, but they are not thinking and have the same ethical or political or other belief system as the rest of your board. And therefore, the culture fit is truly need to be ensured. Therefore, to ensure culture fit, we must involve potential advisors in candid discussion about your company's mission, value, and expectations. It's not just an exercise for your high-level founders and co-founders to create, but you do need to involve even from the marketing team, from the branding strategists, from business operation, and any other team member to truly believe that you can be aligned in every single level as the core foundation for your company. For PulsePoint Path, we use various assessments to help us create that culture fit. For example, we have 6 core assessments that we take the entire board through, as well as our clients through. The top 3 that I can think about, especially for culture fit, is number 1, a purpose alignment reading with our business intuitive to see how are the founders in that organization truly play into their highest purpose. Otherwise, even they have such deep passion and drive, if they're on the wrong path, eventually they were going to take a left turn and quickly sell the company and not actually making much out of it and not able to become the industry leader that they can be. Number 2, predict index, one of the only tested assessment to use for hiring the quickest way. We take our entire board through this to see on what quadrant of skill sets are majority of our board advisors. And when we needed to add additional experts, we needed to make sure they fill the other quadrants so we're not so dominant in one area. And even they come in with good skill set and they're not well balanced for us, that is still a no. Number 3, we use body of 9. Many psychological testing, profiling for you guys could be Enneagram, could be the 16 personalities and whatever else that immediately come in mind. Those testing are mostly based on nurturing. You can change your thinking from year to year, month to month due to the environment situation that you have experienced. However, we can actually identify the way that people perceive things and how they understand things through their physical body. Just like when you go to a yoga or Pilates class, how come the way even you got into the same exercise, the same position, you feel different than the person next to you? It all comes from our body. So based on our body features, actually across all cultures, there are common ground of 9 different types. So we are able to say, how do I not have conflicts? How come you think you're being so clear, so detailed about a project? Someone else feel like you gave too much information versus other people feel like you did not share enough. That all because how we were born was how our body senses and the environment senses also determines how we truly see things. And that's why when we say you have to wear other people's shoes, see in their perspective, it's easily said and done. But when we actually can tap ourselves into that person's natural number, it's much easier. This combination of deep work minimizes the risk of clashing and ensuring alignment in decision-making and direction, creating a cohesive team that navigates the challenges seamlessly. Number 3, gradual integration, allowing new advisors to slowly adapt into your organization. Perhaps in the beginning is to sit in on meetings, observe before fully asking them to contribute and participate. Imagine inviting a guest to a dinner party before they officially become a part of your inner circle. Similarly, gradual integration is a strategic approach to introducing new advisors to your board by allowing them to get involved on their term. However, it's not to say you have no boundary. You do have to set certain level of how many days, how many projects for you to believe that they should be able to handle after beginning phase. And that is crucial also in that 90 days of initial period for you to plan that out. Or you have someone who's great at HR and talent optimization to help you to craft that strategy. This fostering familiarity and a deeper understanding of your company's echo for this particular new advisor. Additionally, this approach often is an opportunity for the current advisors to familiar themselves with the new members' perspectives and not just immediately feel like, ooh, a new intruder in some way. Keep the example of the dinner party. If you have a great set of people who already start eating and someone just happened to be walking in, and that does seem a little disturbing for the people who are already at the table. And just like you are at the table when you're trying to get up to get something or use the restroom, you do ask to be excused. So allowing some space in that period for people to really understand each other. It is an effective way to ease the transition, cultivate relationships, and set a stage for successful collaboration. Number 4, person-centered communication. Most people would say open communication, but that becomes ambiguous. Establishing transparent dialogue is important to address concerns and prevent conflict. This is also easier said than done. So how do we actually ensure that communication truly forms the cornerstone of any successful partnership? When integrating a new advisor into your board, maintaining open line of communication, of course, is crucial. Encouraging candid discussion and not just asking, do you have questions? What do you want to contribute? How can I support you? But be more directional into the specific areas and use examples of different projects or how things were being handled as a way to open up those dialogue. Imagine your company with a vivid conversation, open line of dialogue. You also observe the onboarded advisor with immense potential, but soon encountered disagreements due to unvoiced expectations. By prioritizing transparent conversation, you can lay the foundation for smoother transition and collaboration. Addressing even minor concerns prevents misunderstanding from snowballing into conflicts and fostering an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect. We all know this is easier. Now you might be wondering, Sabrina, how do you do that? We understand the concept and the logic behind it. So what do we need to do? Now you have to think about how do you actually wear that person's shoe? We mentioned earlier, we as PulsePoint Path, a business investment consulting board advisors coming in as a fractional board, we have to think that way for other people and within our team. So when we do our body of 9 assessment, yes, we can then activate ourselves in that person. So for example, I'm a natural 9. I think big picture. I'm a strategist. That's why I come up with the vision and big picture strategy for the right team member to actually do. However, because I'm a big picture person, I love information. So I can decipher, because one of my skill set is looking into what's existing and figure out what holes are there and how things are not in harmony. But because I have too much information, sometimes people get lost or they just wanted to read 1, 2, 3. Too much, don't read type of people. So when I communicate with someone who is in that round, I simply change my way and looking into how they fit their body, mimic that way, and energetically also be with them in that circle and to be able to communicate. And that's something that we can train ourselves for. Now you might think, okay, too much work. I still have to learn about that. What other things we can do? We also use what's called positive intelligence. That's when you're doing all the things. You have the right team member, but they are not working together. Or you feel like you have a great integrated team and everyone working so hard, but things are still moving so slowly. And you have specific deadlines. You are communicating the weight that you can't possibly do any better, and things still get dropped. Well, some of that is whether you haven't seen what your saboteurs are. So we know by study there are 10 different sabotaging tendencies. And if you can identify them right away in the moment of, then of course it's easier for you to process and be able to integrate with other people. And we'll talk about that next. So when we are able to point out what is the myth and be able to talk in their language specifically and be very specific, then it's easier to solve the issue at hand and creating a learning environment to say any challenge, any obstacle is a way for you to learn. So you can do better next time or completely change your course and not get sidetracked. Number 5, clear, defined roles. We all know most conflicts come up by different expectation. What you think people should be able to do, more proactive versus passive, but that's not what other people are thinking. Clearly outlining roles and responsibilities to prevent any overlap as well as gaps in the organization's movement and operational effectiveness. Imagine a relay race where each runner knows their leg of race. Similarly, on your board, define roles and responsibility is crucial to avoid stepping on to each other's toes. Clearly outline what each advisor brings to the table and how their expertise contribute to your company's success. Aligns these expertise into an organized way so people don't start doing one project, but actually is dependent on the result of something else. And then things can get complicated by rewriting, redesigning, and re-strategizing. So number 1 definitely is get very clear on what each person is expected to do. Assign specific area to focus to prevent overlapping and establishing a sense of accountability. When I was putting together our board for PulsePoint, we had to say goodbye to a few advisors who initially were excited, and initially we were excited to have them. We also know we are unique. Nobody does business advancement consultation like we do, and we focus on collective genius. And that can come with challenges when you have multiple people. So think about your team. How big is that? When you have 3 people, those input output is different than when you have 10 people. How do you really handle when you have larger team and experts who have all these years experience more than you do? Therefore, be specific and proactive to create guidelines. For us, we have very specific communication guidelines, and that's even written in the contract agreement with our board advisors, as well as a detailed guideline and a whole dashboard on potential projects, milestones, links to our project management software, and exact display of how we see their progress, what we think they need to do, and how they come up with subcommittees to help themselves to move forward. For example, the marketing chair might want to have the PR chair who are our PR expert as well as our sales expert on the team to help create the best client journey together so they can ensure client satisfaction. However, when you have that team together, they also need to define who is actually leading, who's taking the strategy and actually then implementing. So all these things need to be very thought out. And for any startup companies, even you have gained a level of success, all of these integration with operation efficiency is something that can always improve. By clearly defining these roles, you can create a streamlined decision-making process to ensure that each advisor's effort contribute to cohesive, forward-moving strategy. Well, thank you for being here so far. We had the last point to share with you before we conclude. I want to take a moment to say for all of those who've been watching, listening to us on Provider's Edge, we appreciate you. Please subscribe to our channel and on your favorite podcast platform. We're excited to hear your feedback on how you are leveraging these strategies when you are hiring these high-level talent to your team and organization. So please reach out. I'm active on LinkedIn at Sabrina Runback. I'd love to have a conversation to see if any of this you already been doing or has been helpful for you. All right, let's finish the rest of our show. Number 6, implementing protocols to handle disrupts effectively and prevent escalation. Even the most harmonized team can face disagreement. The key lies in how conflicts are being handled. Establishing clear protocol to address disruptions promptly and professionally. Consider that you as a tech company are facing a drift within your board that could have led to a complete breakdown. However, predefined conflict resolution mechanisms were established and therefore can ensure that addressing the issue head on. By having a open dialogue with immediate mediation strategies and that come natural and doesn't seem forced, then you can ensure you catch the issue head on right away. And instead of creating further misunderstanding or argument, for PulsePoint Path, one of our assessment is positive intelligence, as I mentioned earlier. Then when the situation, how we rewire our brain when we're training both our advisors and our founders for them to be able to quickly scale is based on in the moment of when you're able to quickly identify your saboteur, then you realize it's not you, the person who's talking. Perhaps it's your judgment, right? Your judger, who is the number one saboteur. So we have asked everyone to identify a name for their judge. And mine is the itty bitty shitty committee. If she sings, if these choir keep going, then I can at least catch myself right away. That's not what they meant to say. Everyone is correct at least 10% of the time. So we give the space. Then I can train my mind by doing different sensational or physical exercise to turn myself into that higher level, even within minutes. So to move forward, numerous studies have also shown us for any one negative experience, take at least 3 positive ones to convert, and some even higher. So we have to be very conscious about what are the tendencies. Perhaps our other controllers is the victim mindset versus the controller or versus hyperachiever. Whatever that really means, we have to be focused on what's preventing us from moving forward in that conversation and catch us right away so we can divert our thinking and be more in understanding of someone else. And therefore, with combination of work of body of 9 and positive intelligence. And we can really put ourselves in a better state to have that conversation and not to be upset and still keep thinking over and over again what actually happened and what you can change, what other people should be changing. And those are the mindset that true judger as a saboteur is doing, instead of who you are, the understanding, the logical person who can actually be empathetic, be creative to solve any problem. And here is the best part. We know you truly are the most innovative, most creative, most likely to influence positively for your entire team, your company. And that's why you have a solution and to help other people with your product and services. And we all truly know that put anything together is not easy. Having that entrepreneur mindset, not everybody have it. And we all know it can feel lonely sometimes in your position. And it can also feel like a roller coaster. When we put together PulsePoint Path, I had to embrace a combination of these strategies and handpicked our advisor with skill set that complementary each of the board and each area of the major key function of our business, and have a whole process and slowly evaluating and also learning how to onboard, how to ask for the input and also give input. How do you set deadline? And for those who has pushed past the deadline and still try to bring them back and not feel hurt in the process or feeling like they are not able to do what you ask them to do when you spend hours and your sweat equity plus money and to put in to really see that ROI. So open discussion and redefine roles as we further understand each other by various assessment is crucial. And I'm hoping that you also have a way to adapt some of these things into your organization with protocols, tools that you can use to steer your board, just like we did, to minimize conflicts and truly create that harmony and great environment that people wanted to stay and continue working together. All right, let's quickly recap. Number 1 is complementary skill sets. Number 2, culture fit. Number 3, gradual integration. Number 4, person-centered communication. Number 5, clearly defined roles. And number 6, conflict resolution protocols. If you are on the cusp of welcoming a new advisor, remember, building a cohesive board is an art, and the pieces should fit harmoniously, because you guys know I don't like the word balance. If we truly have balance, that means everyone shared the exact same portion. That's just not possible. And therefore, it's truly about creating harmony in that environment, a culture that you bring in that specifically define your uniqueness. By considering these strategies that we mentioned today, you can ensure a smooth, successful integration. And of course, we would love to talk to you if that's something that you consider to adapt, use, and get some clarity. And perhaps sometimes when you're so close to your own challenges or your own organization, you're actually not sure where you can expand or where the holes are for us to really give you the strategy to be able to patch them up. If you're watching this or listening, we appreciate you. And please drop me a message on LinkedIn or comment directly below wherever you are listening and watching us, and share with us which strategies perhaps you are excited to implement or things that you already done and you even done it better. We will love to hear it, and comment below wherever you are watching and listening. We'd love to hear which one of the strategies we discussed today out of the 6 that you're excited to implement for the next time when you bring on a new board advisor.
Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.